on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. I am your host, High Priestess Makita Divine, and I am here with a very special guest, Miss Sharjay, and we are going to have a show today. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss an episode every Saturday here on WJZZ at 3 p.m. So, we have a great topic today. Now, you know we usually have a format, but this topic is so good that we are just going to dive in and have some serious erotic talk, erotic reading with Miss Sharjay and her book, A Ain't Always for Apples.
Volumes 1 and Volume 2.
Volumes 1 and Volume 2. So tell us about yourself, Miss Shar.
I'm a mother, a grandmother, retired, just trying to enjoy life and writing and out here promoting that type of thing. Same thing as you, doing talk shows, trying to be out there and help people in any way that I can.
Now I have to tell you that the concept of A is for Apple, I think that was really dope because you're you've got this body of people that want to learn how to read and maybe are not comfortable necessarily about traditional reading, and I think I saw a comment where you said, it's just boring, some of the stuff to read.
Right.
So it's brilliant to say, okay, here's a topic, and here's a way for you to consume that topic that can be comfortable for you, and everybody knows about sex, right? So tell us how you, what was it that motivated you or led you to get to that end, to your book?
Well, it kind of happened just organically because originally I wanted to write a more obscure children's book with the same title.
Okay.
But when I got into it, I saw that those were already out there. So I was I got frustrated. I was like, okay, I will, what I'm going to do now? I want to write a book. I want to write an alphabet book. And I started doing research, and I found that in 2018 statistics, 32 million adults in America cannot read.
Wow.
Then in 2020 statistics, it was 42 million. Then I looked a couple months ago, it was 140 million, over 140 million adults. It has tripled in just that short span of time.
How did they come up with that number?
I went on the U.S. Department of Education, and that's what it said. And I think one of the reasons is every year we produce roughly 4 million new adults. They turn 18. So that kind of adds to it. So if we've got 4 million new adults, and what if half of them can't read?
Wow.
Because the school system, and I don't like to talk about the school system, they can't get to everybody. I'm not going to say that they're failing, but they're not reaching everybody.
Okay.
So with that, it just came to me. I was like, well, what would an adult want to read about?
Okay.
And it came to me, it was sex. And when I say it came, I'm not going to say easy, but it wasn't hard. I found the words. And then one day somebody said, you should write a volume 2. And I was like, well, I don't think it's enough words for a volume 2. So I went home, and that very day, I found 26 more words.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, let me put this one together. And now I've got a volume 3 and 4 in the works.
Oh, wow.
And the words are just there,
Okay.
So.
Now, do you use it? Is there, are you teaching now? Is there a curriculum that you use for these books?
No, I used to teach literacy. I used to volunteer with one of the programs in the city. I used to teach literacy. And, we're talking grown men that I was teaching, and they was like, man, this is so boring. But I didn't have the idea then.
Right.
It didn't come to me then. It came when I was trying to write the children's book, and I just kind of put the two together.
Okay.
The premise of the children's book, but it's for an adult.
Okay.
So.
So, any men out there that are not wanting to let people know you can't read, we got some books. So tell me about. We got books for you. We got volumes of sex terms for you to enjoy. Okay. So, tell me. So, do you see for yourself where there could be those programs that you were working with before?
I don't.
Where do you find those? Where do you find those people that don't know how to read? Because nowadays you can pick up your device, and a lot of times you can do things with buttons and pictures.
Right, but people are not going to put that together. People want it to be at their fingertips. So that's what I've done for them. It's like I break the word down. I give you a word. I give you the phonetic spelling, whether it's a verb, noun, adjective, whatever, and then I give you a definition, just like a children's book would do. And then I give you a scenario to which you can use said word. you know.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know about you out there. Does anybody want to hear some of the words that are in the A is not always for Apple?
Nice.
Call us at 313-355-6018 and let us know what letter of the alphabet would you like to learn about today. Okay.
What letter?
So, how do you normally go about promoting your book? Like, what are some of the things that where people like are looking for you?
Well, I'm on social media. I'm also the books are available on Amazon. You can Google them. That's the easiest way. It'll take you right to it. However, I have, because of pandemic, I haven't been out there. I'm just now starting to get out there. I have a book signing coming up on the 23rd of July, from 3 to 6 at 19780 Ralston. If you want to come on out, buy your copy. Meet me, meet some other authors that are going to, erotic authors that are going to be here. Food, wine, music. Come on out, let's mingle. Sell some books, buy some books.
Awesome. So now I usually try to learn a little bit about people that I bring on. So I saw that did you have a different show where it was topics with Char? Kind of talking about everything.
Unique Truth with Char J.
Unique Truth with Char J.
So what happened was when people told me that they couldn't read, they had the books, and they was like, okay, I can't read. So then I would look at my DMs, and they would be like, hey, can you help me with this? And so it just kept going. So I was like, well, somebody said put the book with the show and help people, and that's what I started to do. And we talked about everything. We get a topic, I do some research, I tell you what the person's problem was, and then I say, well, this is maybe a way that they can fix it. But then people would message us and say, well, what about this and what about that? So it just kind of grew from there.
Now, is that still ongoing?
No, past episodes are available on Facebook. Some are on YouTube, but they're available. It's Unique Truth with Char J. Past episodes are available to be seen. I did it for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And so now I just kind of want to promote the books. I don't have time. I like to give my complete attention to what I'm doing, and I gave my complete attention to that. I don't want to half do anything. Right. I'm over here 5 minutes and over here 5 minutes, and nothing's getting done completely. Right. So right now I want to promote the books and be available to go out and do book signings and appearances and that type of thing. Because I don't put a half show together. I give you, a good solid information. Even though it was for entertainment purposes, I try to give you the facts about what's going on with that particular situation.
Okay. So, now, how did you fit all? Tell us a little bit about Char J, the person. Like, how did you, what were you doing before the book, and what got you, kind of lit your writing bug, or have you always wanted to write?
I always wanted to write a book, but like I said, this just came to me. Once I was looking for the one way to do something, and that wasn't working, the other way just kind of popped in my head. Middle of the night, you're in the bed, 3:30 in the morning, you'd be like, I want to write this book, I've got an idea, and then it said, well, why don't you write it for adults? You found all that information, put it with them, put it with the set, and it just kind of came together. I'm not going to say it was easy, but it wasn't a struggle to get it out there.
So it was kind of natural for you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
very good. So now, tell us about your family. Do you have children?
I have 2 grown children, and I have 6 wonderful grandchildren, and I just have the one spoiled granddaughter.
Of course.
So my one grandson, when I first started doing the website, my one grandson, he'll be 15 in a couple weeks. This is maybe about 2 years ago. He did my Facebook page, and I didn't know how to do it like he did, and it was actually pretty good. People are like, oh, I like your page. I was like, grandson did that. And and I was paying him. $15 an hour so he was happy to help me.
Exactly.
So I just kind of the family, like my son's a rapper. He's going to be on Dr. Talford's show shortly. So we're just kind of doing some of everything.
Like a creative family. So what did they think about your book when your erotic topics came up?
I told the kids. I told my kids.
They're like, are we a MILF here, or what's going on?
I told them, don't read the book.
You're going to see something that might hurt your
Right,
feelings.
but my son, he's so hard-headed. He was like, yeah, I looked at a couple of pages, Mom. I put it down. But they did used to watch the show and comment, and their friends used to watch the show, and we talked about some of everything on that show. We talked about sex and premarital sex and infidelity. We talked about everything on that show. Your health, your money. I tried to be, all around stuff in the news. We talked about things in the news. So whatever the topic, like some days I wouldn't even have a topic, and I would look at my inbox, and it would be something there. So, and I would be like, oh, thank God, because I didn't know what I was going to talk about tonight. So, just trying to put something together to help people. That's kind of really what I am. These help people. I've had people tell me that they needed these books, and they appreciate them, and that makes me feel good.
Is it always the people, the adults who are learning to read that need the book, or are you finding that like everybody needs the book because we're so uneducated in this area?
Not necessarily uneducated, but what I do say to people is, my tagline, one of them is, whether you can read or not, you will learn something. And not necessarily something about sex. Like my one friend, she didn't know what voyeurism was, and that's one of the words in the book. Now, mind you, she had partaken in outside activities naked, but she didn't know what it was called.
What the word was. What do you call that? I don't know. Do you know? Did you know? Okay, if you knew what voyeurism is, call 313-355-6018. Tell us what it is. Tell us what it is. I dare you. Okay. I dare you. So let's take a quick break. It's a little bit early. You're watching, because I want to get into some of the definitions here, right? You're watching Temple of Divine TV. I am your host, High Priestess Makita Divine, Real Talk for the Walk, and we are on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. We're here with author Sharjay, about to get into the deep dive of A is Not Always for Apple. So make sure to call in 313-355-6018. Something resonates with you. You got a comment, question, just want to have a little fun. 313-355-6018. Okay, so let's get into what is A for.
In volume 1, A is for ass, I think.
Oh, A is for ass.
A is for ass in volume 1.
And then you got definition and everything in there,
I
right?
do. I have a definition.
So, reading.
Ass is a noun. It's the buttocks or anus. And then the scenario and how you may utilize it to explain it, I guess. My fat, juicy ass all up in your face, you caressing it, sticking your fingers in it. It was made for you to lick and smack while you're fucking me from the back. Smack that ass, baby. Spank me, fuck me harder.
Oh, how the brothers like that explanation? You ain't never seen nothing like that in the dictionary. Okay, it's about to get hot up in here. Okay, so... that was a very interesting definition.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting into some real detail.
And then in volume 2, A is for anal.
Okay.
It's an adjective. It's butt sex. When a penis or fake dick is inserted in the ass for sexual pleasure. Lube it up and slide it in my ass nice and slow. Grab my tits while I rub my clit. Let me control the pace while you ride that ass. Baby, nice and slow. Yes, take your time. It's so good when I come from a good butt fuck. It takes my orgasm to another level. And then as an asterisk, I give little tips. Always use lube and a condom for safe, clean anal fucking.
Now, wait. Okay, I got a question on definition.
Okay.
So now the definition said it's when a dick or a fake penis. So what about other things like fingers, cucumbers? Like, is that considered?
Well, that's fingering,
That's fingering. So fingering is not the same as anal fucking.
Right.
Fingering is not the same as anal fucking, even if the finger goes in the ass. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Because
this is really real talk today. It's real talk. Listen. and let me just, so we're having fun today. But let me just say that if you've been watching this show for any length of time, you know that one of the things that I think we are really hung up on as a society is the area of sex and sexuality. And even though we're having fun today, the reality is we really need to loosen up in this area. And a lot of times when you loosen up in one area, it will allow you to loosen up in your spirituality. But you can't hold and be restricted and closed off and still progress. So this is really valuable even from a spiritual perspective, because you need to loosen up and allow yourself to explore and be who you really are and not have hang-ups about things. And this will set you free, believe it or not. So, go ahead and try that anal fucking and see what comes out.
What did George Clinton, free your mind and your ass will follow?
Free your mind and your ass will follow. Lord have mercy. Okay, it's getting hot in here. Can we get some AC pumped in here? What? Okay, so how did you, so I don't want to get personal, but I'm a little bit. So when you're writing this stuff, I mean, I don't know about you, but me, if I was like writing and continually coming up with them scenarios, I mean, I'd probably get a little hot and bothered. I'd be a little bit like, okay, I need somebody to come visit me while I'm working on volume 1. Volume 2 is smoky. Volume 3 is on fire. I need somebody come take out the fire. Let the fire out. So I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't get through the book. I'd be juicy. I'm just gonna say it out loud. So how do you? Are you really just like an author and you're coming up with these scenarios and it's very straightforward, or are you? How do you write that? And not, I don't mean to put you on the spot. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to answer, because I'll probably ask you anything. But I'm just saying, to me, I'd be.
Well, you do get a little hot and bothered when you're writing these things. Because I am single, self-pleasuring is a friend of mine.
Self-pleasuring, let's go. Okay.
And then when you get up, you don't have to worry about you got nothing, you pregnant. Not that I could get pregnant, but you know
no
what I'm
aggravation.
saying. Right,
No
nobody talking to me. You gonna cook.
Okay, right, okay. Let me just say, I just want to say one thing about the self-pleasure thing, because I know people have hang-ups about it, but I'm just think about the convenience of it all. Like you're saying, it's like I don't have to worry about nobody aggravating me. I don't have to worry about nobody snoring. I don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about eating my dinner, want breakfast, want to do something else. I'm just like done, moving on, right? Okay. So there's nothing wrong with that.
And then you can finish your writing, because yes, it's erotic writing, and it does stimulate you when your mind is thinking about it. Right. So
I'm like, I'm there. I'm like thinking about it. I'm right there in it. So what other? As you're talking, I'm thinking about all these other channels where you can promote your book, right? So I'm thinking, okay. How do I say? Like, they don't have sex education. Like, is there anything? Okay, how can I say this? So, kids need to learn the proper terminologies for things. They need to learn how things work. And I'm not saying I'm going to promote my child on anal fucking, but I want them to at least, be familiar with these things, so they're not like just out there and don't understand and think it's dirty or something. Because it's not dirty, okay? We're making fun, but it's not. I know. I'm seeing.
They get misinformation. So if somebody was curious about it, then they're out there. They're doing this, and then they're not doing it properly.
Right.
This is more not a teaching book for how to have sex or anything like that. This is like for educational purposes only. Although I do provide the correct situations concerning the word that I use. Right. And like I said, if you don't use a condom and lube, you will hurt someone. Right. That's not a place where you're supposed to be doing it anyway, but people do it, and people are curious about that. So if you're going to do it, be correct in what you're doing. And that's the bottom. Be safe.
Because a lot. So say for example, you're in a situation where you've never done that before. Well, you don't know that you need lube for that. You don't know what to expect, and so it's like the education about here's something to do. Now, the only thing I would say, I wouldn't say you're not supposed to do it. I personally say, and this is just me personally, that you're supposed to do whatever you feel led to do. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know what I'm saying?
I remember when we were teenagers and somebody told me, I tried that and it was so painful.
Because you didn't have no
Because they didn't know what they were doing.
Exactly. So, they didn't know what they were doing. He didn't know what he was doing. They didn't have any lube. I mean, the issues come, there's, endless, right? So so when you were growing up, how did you get like this open-mindedness, right?
And this came later. Yeah, nobody, your mama didn't want you to be out there doing nothing or whatever. But yeah, I think I'm pretty open with my conversation. I don't, I don't sugarcoat shit. So, when we talking, we talking. And I say, tell me how you want, if that's the only way you can say it, then say it.
Right.
But, because that came later in life.
Like how later? Like
maybe in my 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, something like that. I don't have, I'm 60, in case anybody was wondering.
I'm 58, in case anyone was wondering.
Right.
Okay.
So in my later years, because at some point you get to the point where, I don't care what nobody think about me, and if I have something to say, I'm going to say it.
Exactly.
I talk openly and honestly with my children, with my grandchildren. You should have heard me and my best friend buying condoms for my grandson when he was going to college, because I told him I am too young and too cute to be a great grandmother. Okay, so we're not doing that.
Right,
and so my friend, she's like, well, what kind do you think? I asked him, what kind do you want? Ribbed, lubed, magnum? You want
one of each, please.
Rib
We'll
for her. Wait, rib for her pleasure. What do you want? Because I don't want no great grandbabies.
Right.
So, and I said, well, do you want to talk about sex? He said, no, Grandma, I know a lot about sex. I was like, well, you still could probably learn some things. So, and nobody wants to have that. But my grandson, my oldest one, is 21. So if you don't tell him, he'll pick it up wherever he can. And I don't want my grandchild out there stupid. So I have to tell him.
Right.
So
does he listen though? You know how kids
sometimes.
I want to learn about sex with my grandma.
Sometimes.
They listen, but they don't let you know they listen.
Right. So sometimes he does, and sometimes he's like, I talked to him the other day, because he's a grown man, 21, doing his thing, working, but he's not getting stuff done. I was like, if you don't know something, honey, pick up the phone, call me, call your dad, call your auntie. We will tell you. You have help.
Right.
So don't just sit there and that's the thing. I think people, just like with that and just like with reading, they have shame in saying, well, I don't know how to do that, so I'm going to just try to figure it out.
Right.
There's no shame in not knowing. The shame comes from not doing anything about it. And it pisses me off, because our forefathers died so you could read. They died so you could vote.
They were fighting to read and fighting to do the things that we take so for granted, right?
And you won't even learn how to do it. I guess if they knew the struggle or took the time to figure out the struggle, they would get it. So
I think it's going to come down to survival, though, in a minute. Don't you think, with all the technology and the way everything is going? Like, I take that back. I guess some of it it almost feels like, tell me what you think about it. Do you think that technology makes it easier for someone who can't read to get away, or harder for them?
Harder. It's like when my son was 7, and I realized, 7 is about the time you start to learn how to tie your shoe and whatnot. And he didn't know how, because we had bought him Velcro shoes.
I did the exact same thing.
And then I said, well, you may not have. He's like, Mommy, why my shoe flipped? I was like, because you're gonna have to learn how to tie stuff.
I did the exact same thing. Yeah.
But we think, oh, it's so easy. He could put on his shoes, but he's not learning anything in that process.
Right.
So I had to stop and teach him. And I think text speak and all the technology, I think it hurts them. A guy texts me, and men my age, a lot of men my age, don't take the time to learn how to spell or read. They didn't care back then, 60, 65, they didn't really care. And a guy texted me, and he told me to come, C-U-M, get some, S-U-M, of the food he was cooking. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know if that adds up.
Right, exactly. Like, okay, that was, I'm kind of down for that other one.
Right, but I'm like, does he not know that that's not the way to spell what he's saying, or is he using text speak?
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't like that. I don't like it when who I'm dealing with can't read, or it's a turnoff.
How does it come out that they can't read? Like, I've met people who say, well, I didn't learn how to read until I was X age, or they seem to be able to camouflage it pretty well. So how do you identify someone that can't read? And
I know I was working, and we had a guy. He was very cool, very cool. He was sexy, cool, but he couldn't read. And we had products. So let's just say, like my book, both of them say A ain't always for Apple, but somebody would order volume 1. And he was, as long as he saw A ain't always for Apple, he would grab, and it wasn't the right, the product numbers were off. They wanted white, and he got them off white, because it's certain. And it was messing up our inventory. Like, we messed up, out of 18 stores, we messed up because he did this, so they had to let him go. But he got through. I mean, he could fill out an application. He could, because they learn that. They learn
the
how
basics.
They learn how to I guess hide it is probably the best word. They learn how to hide it.
Do you find, okay, so how do they, I mean, not to go boring, we can go back to the book in a minute, but it's fascinating to me, right? So there's like, so you're learning to read like functionally, but then it seems like you have to get to a point where you're trying to learn to read to grow your understanding and your vocabulary. Like, how do they, once they learn the basics of how to read, how do you help them to, or how do you suggest that they continue their reading? Because my son told me today, I hate reading. I'm like, how can you hate reading? Like, I personally love books. Like, books, I always have books. My ex-husband would always be like, why do you have so many books? I mean, I have books. I love reading. How do you have a recommendation on how do you spark the love for reading in people, and then how do you help them to go beyond that, especially now, like in the technology age, learn more?
I would hope that these books, because these aren't a cure-all, they're to start the learn to read journey. Right. So if they get in this book and they say, well, maybe I should look this up further and see what's over here, and if we're doing this, can I do this? Maybe this will start. And you know, there's no, like I said, there's no shame in it. But I wanted to give somebody something interesting, and I think people will speak to their sex life way sooner than they'll speak to the fact that they can't read. People have asked you before, have you and so you dating somebody, y'all had sex yet? Somebody has but nobody has ever asked you, can he read?
They don't even, I think they just, I mean, like, I would never assume that somebody couldn't. I would always just assume they can until they can't. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't realize you could.
But
read.
now you can carry my book, 18-year-old young male can carry this book, and somebody will say, you had that book because you can't read. He'll say, no, man, I got this book.
Exactly.
Because it's got some hot sex in it.
Right.
He don't even got to tell you that he can't read. You know, he learned.
Right.
He
That's
has
a good point.
He has nothing to be ashamed of by having this book because the world accepts this. Right. Oh, it's got sex in it, man. Let me see.
Right. Right. And they'll learn, like, what's this? What does this mean right here, man? What is that? What's voyeurism? What's that?
What is that? So you know, and even though if you can read at a 5th, 6th, 8th grade level, because majority of adults that can't read at or below 8th grade. So if you can read at an 8th grade level, then these are perfect for you. Simplistic, but still interesting. And I wanted to keep them like that.
What about a book club? Have you ever had a book club?
No, I've been doing some interviews. It was one interview, the lady, she promotes it as a book club. I don't think they got it for the book club. I got some sales behind that interview, but nobody showed no pictures where they got together and look what we got for book club. So maybe they're reading
serious.
it
Let's
at
start
home.
the A is for Apple book club.
A ain't always
we can
for
have the
Apple
men's. A ain't always for Apple. You can have the men's book club and the women's book club, and then they have meetups, right? They have meetups once a month. The male book club and the female book club, they meet once a month and have like a kind of interaction, conversation.
I kind of would. I mean, I do like to get the male perspective on anything that I do. When I used to do the show, the male perspective, I used to like it when the fellas were on there. And so that would be interesting. If anybody wants to start a book club, call me, reach out, and I will mail you out some books. You all send them or order them, and I would like to see some forums. I will actually do a Zoom mediation to talk about it. We can do a forum.
That sounds really interesting.
I would appreciate that. That would be nice.
Oh, yes. You're watching Temple of Divine TV. I'm your host, High Priestess Makita Divine, and we are here with author Char J talking about A Ain't Always for Apple, and actually getting into kind of some of the reading aspects of things and how we promote education, which is, believe it or not, what we're doing. No. And I'm just really excited about the idea of a men's book, I'm excited about the men's book club. I'm excited about the men's book club. Sorry, ladies. But I think we should do a book club. We should do a male version of A Ain't Always for Apple, a female version, and meet up once a month. What do you think about that? Call in. You're watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. And listen, put book club in the comments if you think that's a good idea. If you want to join your friends friends and meet some new people and look at a book and read a book and talk about sex and learn about sex and possibly get a hookup at a meetup once a month, then put book club in the comments and let's make that happen. Book club. I say book club.
Book club.
Okay, so
hashtag book club.
hashtag book club. Okay. So man, I'm really excited about that idea. That'd be a good way to meet people. Okay. So tell us something about the book and kind of the journey to the book that we would never know if we weren't sitting here with Sharjay herself, the author, talking about it.
That's a good one. The journey to the book. The pictures are wonderful.
You got pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the pictures.
Yeah, the pictures are wonderful.
She got pictures.
See?
Oh, we got
And the artist is from Venezuela. I
got
found
Wait,
her.
where the camera at? We got pictures, y'all. We
Yeah,
got illustrations.
It's just like the children's alphabet book,
Yes,
like
it
A is
really
for
is.
apple.
This is so adorable. Look,
Adorable.
we're on nipples. Nipples. Okay, let's go here. No. Wow, this is so neat. This is so neat. You got to get you a copy. Listen. So where did they get a copy from? Do you have a website or what do you
Well, I'm basically right now off of Amazon. Both books are available, but the easiest way, because if you just type in A and always for Apple on Amazon, everything with the word Apple in it will pop up.
Oh, okay.
So you have to set your book filter. But if you don't feel like doing it, just Google it. It'll pop right up.
I did. I did.
Pop right up. Yeah, no problem. And that's the
Get your
easiest
copy.
way. And I
Got
was so
pictures.
excited.
Bring it to the book club.
I was so excited when I said, oh, you can Google my book. I was so excited. So that's why, but it's the easiest way to find the book. But the author, she lives in Venezuela.
Okay.
And we've never met. We did everything through internet. And which is funny, in Venezuela when pandemic hit, they were on lockdown. They could not go outside.
Really?
And they followed the rules over there. So she had nothing to do. I had nothing to do.
Right. Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
So that's what you would do. We didn't have nothing to do. So we was both like, what about this? What about that? So she did a fantastic job. A fantastic job with the pictures. We got into a little bit. She's like, why do you keep telling me this? I could do this. And so we got into a little bit of squabble here and there. But we figured it out and we worked it out.
So how did you meet her again?
Actually, I found her on Fiverr.
Okay.
And Fiverr, you can find people sometimes. It's not the best, but you luck up sometimes. So we just kind of, that's where I found her. And I use her, and I will use her for the next couple of volumes. But I need to sell these in order to pay for those. Because I did these out of my pocket.
Right.
And it's not cheap. So, but I feel good about what I'm doing. So, it's a labor of love. You do it and because you figure that it's a good product. There's nothing else out there like these. I did see something similar, but his words were stupid. It was stupid. But it's nothing else out there like that. It's very unique. I'm very proud of these. I am. I'm very proud of them. It's like you said, oh my God, I did something so wonderful. I'm not saying that. I did something different. And I put something out there that, to have an idea that nobody thought of before, it makes me happy.
So tell us, what's your journey story? Tell us something that we wouldn't know if we weren't here sitting here with Shar.
For the books or just period in
Just
life?
in general,
Well, it's a joke at my house that I had so many jobs. If it was a way to make money to get my babies what they needed, if it was legal, I did it. At one point, I had 3 jobs. I worked for the water department in daytime. I bartended on a couple of days a week, and then I also did. Before Comcast had their own customer service, they used to pay like a answering service, and a couple of days a week I did that. I was going through a divorce. I wanted a house. My babies needed shoes, so did what I had to do. And so now I'm not saying this is what I had to do, but out here promoting them, that's what I gotta do in order to get them out there. Because my babies may not, they in their 40s, they might not need shoes, but they need something.
They still your babies.
Not need, but they want something.
Desire something you want to surprise them with.
Right.
So, are you in adult bookstores?
You know what? No, I haven't. I haven't been able to make those connections, and that's just kind of, like I said, I'm just now starting to get back out there. I haven't been able to make those connections yet. I went to.
That would be perfect. I think you do really well in adult bookstores.
I would love to be in adult bookstores. I'm open for any interviews, shows, podcasts. I'm available. Now is the time for me to get out here and start getting this going. So.
Awesome. So what's now? What is your favorite? Like, there's got to be. Well, it doesn't have to be, but like you're the author and it's all good for you. But what's your favorite letter of the alphabet in which volume?
So in volume 1, J is for jumpstart. Both are verbs. Sex, first thing upon waking. There is nothing. Morning sex. There is nothing like a good fuck in the morning to start the day off right. Fuck coffee. Give me that hard morning dick.
Ooh,
That would be my favorite letter.
Okay. Anybody? Okay. If anybody's into morning sex, why don't you go ahead and call us and tell us about it? 313-355-6018.
So I have a funny story, and I've been telling I was at a party, and somebody says, hey, show them your book. And I just had volume 1, and I was like, okay. And the gentleman bought a book, and then he was like, all right, y'all, I'm about to go. And they was like, I can't remember his name. They was like, Uncle Johnny, where you going? He was like, I have my book. I'm going home to do some of these letters. And I thought he was joking, but he got in his car, and he left.
With the book.
With the book. He's like, I got my book. I'm going home.
He got his book. He going home.
Try some of these letters. I see y'all.
Oh, my goodness,
and
look.
he left. So I was like, oh, okay. So
I'd be like, excuse me, sir, do you need a partner?
No, he had Auntie so-and-so was at home.
Oh, okay.
She was at home.
Okay. How many ladies would like for your man to get some letters? Okay, we ain't talking about your regular Letterman jacket from school, high school. He need to get some of his A ain't always for Apple letters in play. You want to see that? 313-355-6018. Tell us about it. Okay, so tell us something else that's exciting about. So you said in your later in life, did you have a lot of was it just like an overnight experience where you were just like, you know what, forget it. I don't care what nobody think. Or was it like over time you saw things differently because of different things that happened in your life?
Right. Well, after, I was going through a divorce, and that's when I was working the 3 jobs and whatnot. And then after a while, you just get to the point where, I don't care what you're talking about. I'm trying to make this for me and my kids, And so then you just start going through a phase like that. Here I am, I'm single, I got 2 kids, and what I'm going to do to... what I'm gonna do to make things right for them, and you don't care. Your mindset changes when you got people that are dependent on you. Your mindset changes. You don't care. I don't care what you're talking about. I have to do what I have to do, and as long as I'm doing it right, the rest don't matter. And that's how you get to that. It takes. It's not something like you say overnight. No, it didn't come overnight. I had to get to that point after crying and struggling and feeling like you just can't do it no more. But then you look at them faces and they hungry, and not that they were hungry, but you have to feed them.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
You have to feed them and you have to clothe them. You don't have time for that. And then if you out here doing the best you can, but somebody over here talking. You have to block that out.
Go. See you later.
I'm out here answering phones, slinging drinks.
Right. Just working it. Working it. Go, mama.
Got my day job.
Right. Go, mama. So have you run into like the prudy people? Like I actually do, believe it or not, I have a religious background. This is actually a spiritual show, but I look at it like Real Talk for the Walk in the sense that we're real people. We have real situations, real life. Most of the things that, in my opinion, that we learn from religion are things that are limiting, that keep us kind of in a box.
Right.
And I ran into the people that are really religious. They're just like really, like it's like a rock. You just can't crack it, and they have a certain viewpoint. Have you had any people like that you run into?
I have not. Everybody has been so receptive. So
they've been in the closet.
I'm kind of looking for those people, because I really would say to you, none of us would be here without sex.
Yes.
Nope, nobody would be
Yes.
here without
Yes,
sex.
exactly.
So, but I have not. I used to go to a sewing class with women like in their 70s and 80s, and one woman told me that if this book would have been available when her daughters were teenagers, she would have purchased it for them because she felt it was pertinent information. And she's a church-going lady, you know, in her 70s, and you know. Nobody. I have not come across anybody.
That's really fascinating.
And I mean, I'm ready for those people. Like I said, I'll go on any show and I'll talk. Let's talk about it. You want to argue? I'm a professional arguer. So, so if you got something
Don't
to
mess
say,
with Sade.
if you got something to say, let's talk about
Right,
it. We
right,
can all
right.
we're having conversation.
Right.
But to them, I would say nobody would be here without sex, and there's nothing to be shamed about. The fact that somebody can't read, or the fact that somebody is, like you say, functioning, but these people are some of these people that can't read are your bus drivers and your truck drivers and your fast food work. I'm not saying that, but they're out
Right,
there
the
in the
caregivers,
world.
yeah.
So they're your service people. So what if they're doing your medicine or something? You know, they a slip, like I said, one letter off, one number off. Could possibly cause somebody
Life or death
right,
situation.
life or death. So this is important that somebody can't read. I wish they did teach sex education still in class. These would be perfect in school. These
I have
would be,
so many ideas.
right.
For you. Like,
These would be perfect if they taught, because. And somebody said, "Well, would you want your 17-year-old? If my 17-year-old could not read, but he's out here chasing tail and everything." He already knows what it is. They find what they want to find. So if they
On
don't,
the internet.
right? If they're going to find what they want to find, let them find something that's educational. That's teach the little bit of stuff that I do talk about here, like the anal, is telling them the correct way.
Right.
You know,
Right.
what to do, how to do it, not how to do it, but when you're doing it, how to.
Is that volume 5? How to do it with pictures from Venezuela.
No, we ain't doing that.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, if you're going to seek out information, seek out the correct information. And I try to do that. I don't try to tell anybody anything or put anything out there that isn't correct.
Right.
Now, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I had to do research and figure this out. I learned all this stuff on the internet.
And you have to know you got to sift through the internet.
Right.
There's a whole
I
bunch of
learned
stuff
all
out
this stuff.
there.
But I try to give the correct information. I don't want to tell anybody anything wrong. So.
I really appreciate that, even as a parent. I mean, I've been pretty open with my sons, but I know there's like stuff in there that I could probably the whole thing is all I'm gonna learn everything new, right? So I wonder if even because I do marketing in another life, so I'm thinking even if you had even in Facebook groups with moms, I don't know if you're like a Facebook person, just kind of connecting with them on that aspect of teaching your kid how to. You know, to know what the right thing is, I think it's really valuable because even parents we don't know everything, right? We haven't done the research. We don't have time to do research. And then it's like, here, okay, kid, here's this book. Matter of fact, why don't we have like family book night and you just read a word and let's talk about it, like type thing. I think that would be fascinating for people as well.
So there was some interest in taking these. It didn't pan out, but taking these to like a TV show like for HBO similar to Sex and the City did not pan out. Okay. However, the premise was we would take a letter and that person would be trying to do that letter. Each week somebody would be trying to do that letter.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, we never got past. It was just an idea. We never got past any of that. So I would like for that to be the case. You know, something like that. It's, you know, they can make a TV show out of anything.
Or a game show. Ooh. A ain't always for Apple. You get the little deck of cards, you pull out a letter, and then you got to do the thing.
Oh, no, not on
TV. Well, you can act it out. Okay, not on TV. Nobody watches TV anymore anyway, do they?
Streaming services.
You can stream that on. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting aspect. Okay, so you're watching, believe it or not, Temple Divine TV on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. and call. You got a few more minutes to call and ask questions for Miss Charge. I know you got them. You don't know all the letters. You want to hear another letter? How about we hear another letter? Okay, I think we need to hear another letter and go out on a high note. 313-355-6018. Dial in. You about to run out of time. Let's go.
do Z.
Z. Okay, Z.
Z in volume 1 is for zipper sex.
Zipper sex. Zipper
Yeah,
sex?
both are
Okay.
nouns. Sexual act performed by using just the zipper opening without pulling the pants down or off. So we're in the crowded drive-through, and you stick your dick through your zipper, and I slip down and take you in my mouth and suck it while we wait for our food. I think the cars behind us can see my head bobbing up and down, which only adds to my excitement. I make you come before we pull up to the window. Now get us home so we can fuck.
How'd you like to be the teller to drive through on that window?
Like, what they doing?
Like,
what is they doing back there?
Here's your
I thought I saw 2 people.
right. Like, what happened? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wow. Zipper sex. That's a thing. You like really found that, huh? Zipper sex.
Yeah. It's kind of also in one of the books. I'm not sure if it's this one or the other
What's
one.
your other Z? You got two
Z in volume 2 is for zealophile.
Zealophile.
And that's a noun, and it's sexual arousal due to jealousy. Now, zealophile is
Really?
they no longer use that as a word. I have to search for words. It transformed over to jealousy. However,
Really?
watching him flirt with me makes you so jealous and mad, but your jealousy turns us both on so much. My pussy juices are dripping down my leg, and your dick is so hard you want to fuck me here and now. Asterisk usually leads to a good hard fuck while being asked, whose pussy is this? Which equals good dick. Sorry.
Not the whose is this. Not the whose is this. Wow. So that's really, so how does the word get, like, not be a word anymore?
I guess, and they stop using it, and when it comes to that, and they stop using it, and then it just transforms over into something else.
Jealousy, like the word jealousy.
Yeah, zealophile, but then
Zealophile.
zealous. and-
Zealophile. Zealophile. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I never would have thought that that would be a thing.
So in volume 3, I think the word I'm using for dick is zab is my Z word, and that's a slang word for dick over in, I believe it's in Britain, in the UK or Greek or somewhere like that. Zab, Z-A-B. But it's a girl trying to find these letters sometimes.
Zab.
When I
What's
told
with your zab?
when I told my
Oh,
daughter
I like
I
that
was
zab. That's the right list zab right there. They don't even know what you're talking about.
When I
Oh,
told my
okay.
daughter I was doing a volume 3, she was like, "How nasty are you? Where are you finding these words? Where are you finding all
Right.
these words at?"
Oh, that's
I was
funny.
like,
That's
trust
funny.
me,
That's
it is
funny.
not easy, but I'm finding them.
Wow. Well, that is definitely an interesting pursuit. So I think we got about 10 minutes here. What else? Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the viewers about anything? I mean, just like about reading, about sexuality, about religion, about life, about motherhood. Like what is
So-
it? You got the floor here. Share with us what you
So,
want
a
to
couple
share.
of things. Your sexuality is your business. If consenting adults are doing it and you happy with what you're doing it, then do what you're doing. It ain't nobody's business but yours. That's number 1. Number 2, if you're going to be doing something, make sure you understand what you're doing. I asked 5 women, I'm sorry. I asked 5 women if they knew what the proper name for a blowjob was. 2 knew it, 1 knew how to spell it. But if you ask those same women, do you know how to do you do that? Girl, I'm the best at that. So know what you're doing. If you
Right.
remember that you should put it in your mouth if you don't know how to spell it or pronounce it. So if you're putting it in your mouth, at least learn how to pronounce it or spell
Okay.
it.
I'm
So-
buying. What's the proper word for?
Fellatio.
Oh, I knew that.
Right. So
Now, let me
you know,
see, can I spell it? Wait, Fellatio.
I'm not sure if it's 2 L's or 1 because
That's one
I
letter.
think it's. I think it's.
Fellatio. What's the girl
Yes, it's
version,
two,
ladies?
It's
Call
2.
in.
It's 2 L's. You're right. You were
Ladies,
correct.
call in. What's the girl version? 313-355-6018. Can you spell it? I don't
If
think I
you
can
call
spell
me
that
and spell it, the girl version for the word, if you tell me what it is and you spell it, I'll send you books.
one.
Now,
Ooh,
so
you get
anyway,
books. Come on.
and
now.
come on, you got 5 minutes.
right.
So, and then that, whatever you're doing to do your hustle, take care of your family, try to do that the best you can. You know, don't worry about what nobody else saying. This your life. You know, live it how you want to live it, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Let's see. Book signing at 19780 Ralston in Detroit on July 23rd from 3 to 6. Come on out. We've got food, drink, books. Other erotic authors will be here. It's going to be a fun event. Meet me, get some books, get your book signed.
Learn some things.
Learn
that you
some
can
things.
apply.
Right.
I like to learn by doing. How about you? Call, let us know. 313-355-6018. Check it
So
out.
you like to learn by doing.
Learn by doing. I'm a visual person. I mean, I love books and I like to read, but I like to just like get my hands in there and do the thing.
So when you're reading, do you prefer, we talked about this, me and some friends the other day, do you prefer a book or do you prefer like on the Kindle?
I like books.
I like books too. I don't like
books.
the...
It's something about having something in your hands and turning the pages and seeing the letters. And actually, even with writing, you know, I think there's science research behind the fact that when you're writing, you learn better because of the brain connection.
Yeah.
I feel like seeing the words, I feel like you comprehend it better. And like your brain can see more than the words that you're reading. So I feel like you absorb things better when you're looking at like a page of words.
Right.
Just and you do that with the Kindle, but I just like to turn pages.
Me too. I like the riffle.
How about you? You like to turn
I
pages?
just like to turn the pages.
Right.
So, other than that, you know, I'm just out here living life, trying to have a good time and be helpful to people. You know, if I can help you learn something, get ahead, you know, it's enough out here for everybody, and I'm willing to share and help and do all of that. So
That's a really great attitude.
right, I can't keep it off of myself.
Yes. I mean, I'm really excited that we have met and did this show together. I think let me see, what time? We're running a little bit out of time. You got a couple of minutes. You better call in, 313-355-6018. So I just want to thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your content. I appreciate what you're doing. Because I think, like I said earlier, when I first started this show, one of the things I wanted to do, we did Sex Appreciation Month. It was like August last year, right? So each show was on like some aspect of sex. And what I found is that when I was looking for things that were related to sex, it was always like, you know, sex trafficking. It was all the negative things around sex. Like I found a lot of the stuff about sex trafficking. When I looked up sexual awareness, because I just wanted to piggyback on a month. Like I thought, oh, there must be a Sexual Appreciation Month, right? There was nothing. There was sexual awareness, and it was always about rape and all these things that were negative. But there wasn't really sexual awareness around.
You wanted to celebrate the joy of sex.
Exactly. And there wasn't much out there. So to have something where someone is really saying, hey, here's some stuff about sex that's positive, is really good because there's not a lot out there. And it's really, I mean, I feel like it's bad because it's the most beautiful thing we have. It's the strongest energy that we have and everything. And we've kind of just like dampened it down and made it into something, for the most part, people, I feel like, made it something dirty and sneaky and that's not good. And I don't really fully understand that. So just to have you out here doing your thing, speaking your truth, sharing your information, I think it was brilliant to put in a children's book. Like really,
the format of a
children's book is really nice. So if you don't have your copy, make sure you reach out to Miss Shar J and get your copy of A Ain't Always for Apple. And make sure that you come to the book signing on the 23rd and check us out. Get your copy signed by Miss Shar. And we will see you on Temple of Divine TV, on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world, broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time here on Temple of Divine TV.